Hi everyone, how goes it? How you all doing? Well, I'm in a Yorkshire town today called Leeds. It's just over the Pennine. You know, you M62, skip over to the Pennines and then you're in Yorkshire. Well, what does anybody have an opinion about the money that they've released now? Congress has finally agreed on the amount to fund these three confrontations that really all have the same one purpose. Yeah, there might appear to be three separate confrontations between Ukraine, Israel, and the coming Taiwan with China. They're not three separate, are they? Because what's the one purpose of putting the world into a final world war? Well, it's obviously to create fear. It's to keep us, the collective we, down, not allow us to have any kind of happiness. Don't settle for anything. We won't be able to. They don't want us to be happy. Now, Roseanne Barr recently said on Russell Brand's channel this. She said they want us dead. A lot of people actually believe that's where it's going. I'm open-minded about it. I'm not saying I don't believe that she might be right there. She could possibly be correct. Maybe it is part of their super plan. Let me put my glasses on. So the super plan is that the baton of power at some stage will have to be passed over to another power. I'm talking in the human sense. You know, these people don't think spiritually. You know, they don't think for 1 minute there's going to be a non-human powerful source that is going to have a say in man's plans. They're simply making their own plans from the powers that are in place at the moment. And the powers that are still dominant are what Joe Biden said on a recent news press conference. He says, we are the superpower in the world at the moment, meaning the Anglo-American Empire. That's what he was talking about. He specifically said we are the most powerful superpower in the world. He was having a little boast, and he was also poking at Russia and China. This was Joe Biden poking them. This was him provoking them. So he's saying, well, we are NATO, we are the United States, with Great Britain, our great ally. Yeah, well, he's correct. They have been reigning supreme as the final human world power. That is an absolute fact. But poking China and Russia is only going to anger them. So all these three confrontations, don't view them as separate. View them as one purpose, and that is they are clinging to power, the Anglo-American Empire, and they are calling people's bluff. They are funding their proxies, using them as a bulwark, some kind of barrier and some kind of battering ram against their immediate enemies, Russia and soon to be China. So they're using all these countries who they're funding, and that's why they're funding them, because they're using them to weaken their enemies. Once they've weakened their enemies sufficiently, then it'll be boots on the ground. NATO will go in. They're already talking about it now. A lot of well-known YouTubers are saying that we're already in the Third World War. Well, just because there's not, a declaration from number 10 to say we are now currently at war with Russia, just because there's no declaration like there used to be in the old days where we are now at war with Germany, it doesn't mean that we're not. We're certainly doing everything we can to weaken our enemies. I guess this is what Anglo-America do pretty well. I think they've done it very, very successfully. But they don't get away with as much now because media and the speed of the internet gets the truth pushed around the world a lot quicker than the old days. And they're having to change their plans all the time. So just as we think we're second guessing them and we know what they're going to do next, they'll have another plan, and so they'll change tact. This is what they're doing very well. But I still think that the ultimate goal is that by 2030 they have to have the population drastically reduced. To do that, they'll have to use a war. They'll have to use a pestilence, some kind of virus, and they'll have to use starvation. Does that sound familiar to you? Well, it should do, because it's the makeup of the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse, which Revelation says will come to the end of that ride. And the rider of the white horse, who's depicted as riding with the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse, is the one to conquer the other 3. Now it seems close, doesn't it? The return of Jesus Christ and his messianic kingdom taking rule. Now it seems very close. Anyway, I gotta go. Yeah, I've just parked right in the dead centre at the moment. I'm just waiting for a sufficient time to elapse. I've got until 10:30 where I'm parked, and then these barriers come up. Once the barriers come up, you are locked in the city centre, so you need to get out by then. But I've got a few retail stores to do right in the centre here, which I'll do. So it's nice to have talked to you all people, and I shall see you again. And every week that passes, people, brings us closer to the end. Well, I don't care. I don't care if the end comes, because that's all we deserve, because we're a horrible lot, a lot of us, with a few exceptions. I'm sure there are some good-hearted people out there. Yeah, so maybe I don't include you in that list, but the majority of mankind is despicable, really despicable, selfish. I'll have to include myself in that list. You know, I can't say that I rise above all that criticism. No, I'm probably part of it. I've probably done things that, when it comes to the separating of the sheep and goats, will definitely put me on the right hand side, which is not the side I want to be on. It's not what will give me life, and only I can do something about it, just as only you can do something about your salvation. I'll see you all. Goodbye.